Alright, so I already filmed this once, but my memory card was full, so we're just gonna do this again on a different memory card. So I hope you enjoy my new intro. I didn't spend that long making it because I just wanted to have one, and then once I figure out how to do it better, I will make another one. I'm going to take these off because the glare, fun. So today I'm going to be talking about zero waste on a budget, and also when you live in a food desert, because I grew up in a food desert. I don't currently live in one now, thankfully, but I understand the struggle of living in one. So I'm just going to talk about both of these today. I was going to make a separate video, but it didn't really make a whole lot of sense because both of the topics and all of the things I'm going to be talking about, they just kind of went hand in hand, so I'm just gonna make it one video. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking down at my notes. I'm actually gonna get a drink because my throat got dry last time. I drink at my reusable water bottle. So none of these are in any particular order, but I will try to make it a little more organized. So first I'm going to be talking about on the go and going out to eat at restaurants. So I'm just going to start with this. This isn't the one I typically carry around with me. That one is dirty because I used it today actually. It's actually in a vlog, the summer weekend vlog that I'm filming right now. So this is just one I put together. This Tupperware I was gifted, but I have one similar to this that I got at Dollar Tree. So this is what it looks like, and just gonna take it apart. So instead of using paper napkins when you go out to eat, I just bring dish towels with me. That way I'm not creating paper waste. And this is a little big, this is a little excessive. I got this from Sam's Club. Dollar Tree makes them, so you can get them at Dollar Tree, and the ones at Dollar Tree are also smaller. This is just what I have, so carry those with me. I also bring my own silverware. This is just cutlery from my silverware drawer. I didn't buy a zero waste kit on Amazon or anything because I already have these things at home. It just felt a little counterintuitive to me to go out and buy things when I just have these at home. I also normally carry a butter knife, but all of mine are dirty. And this way, if I have leftovers, I can put them in here. This is for when they only offer plastic utensils. So I have these so I don't have to create that plastic waste. And then when the utensils are dirty, if I don't have any to-go food anyways, I can just put them in here along with the napkin again. So I'm just gonna do that. Put all back in here, and this fits in my bag really nicely. I carry a larger purse, but if you carry a smaller purse, you can just keep your silverware and maybe a small cut up old t-shirt and something like this. This is an old Ipsy bag when my mom got me Ipsy when I was younger, and you can just carry this in a small purse. Or if you carry a backpack, this can go in your backpack. This fits fine sitting this way in my purse or in the bottom sitting like this. I also use reusable straws. I got mine from Starbucks because there's one on my campus, but you can get them from TJ Maxx or Walmart. I haven't seen them at Dollar Tree yet, unfortunately, but I'm sure with all the stuff they're coming out with, they're gonna come out with those soon as well. So those dish rags that I use in my to-go containers, you can just replace those with paper towels entirely. I don't buy paper towels unless it's just to clean up, you know, mess it, like, because sometimes the dogs have accidents or Allie will throw up, and I don't want to use a reusable cloth for that. I kind of just want to throw it away, you know what I'm saying? So this is the only really thing I use paper towels for. I'll dry my hands on my dish rags. I'll dry my dishes with my dish rags. I'll pretty much clean up all my spills with dish rags because you just rewash them. Reusable water bottles. So this is my big one. I have a lot of reusable water bottles. This one I got at Target. It was only $5, and it's really thin, so it fits in my backpack really nicely. I have a glass one that I keep in my purse that's about yay big that Ulta gave Mom, and Mom didn't want it, so she gave it to me. So I have a lot of these just because I don't want to use plastic water bottles. I do understand if you live in a place where the drinking water isn't necessarily drinkable, that you have to use plastic water bottles, because in Waycross, where I grew up, there's been cancer clusters, and if you don't know what a cancer cluster is, basically a lot of people in my hometown have come out with very rare forms of cancer, and we all think it's linked to our groundwater. So a lot of us don't drink the water where I'm from, and we use plastic. Now when I go home, if it's only for a day or so, I'll bring this guy, fill it all the way to the top, but if I'm going for multiple days, I will drink out of plastic water bottles. But if you're really concerned about that, just reduce your plastic consumption elsewhere, and I'll get into how you can do that. Trying to get all of these organized. Another way to reduce your waste is reusable shopping bags, Tupperware, and even silverware that you can get at Dollar Tree. So this is a little shopping bag that I got at Dollar Tree. It folds in on itself, so it makes it really convenient to carry with me everywhere I go. I see things like this that are very popular in the zero waste community, but a pack of three of them is very, very expensive, and I got a couple of these, $1 each, from Dollar Tree, and it just fits very conveniently in my purse. Now I do keep bigger reusable shopping bags for when I do go on my big grocery shops. This is for when I'm picking up a couple things, or like if I get clothes at Goodwill or something like that, I can use my own bag. But I do have reusable shopping bags. You can get cutlery from Dollar Tree if you don't want to use your nice cutlery to bring around with you. That way, if it gets damaged or lost, it's not that big of a loss. You can also use old t-shirts to make reusable bags, so it doesn't require any sewing. I've done this. So with a short sleeve shirt, just cut off the sleeves to make it a tank top style, and then you can cut the bottom into strips and tie the strips together. And I do use those for produce bags sometimes. So that can come in handy. Also with larger produce items like potatoes, you can use old pillowcases. And you may get some funny looks, but honestly, who cares? Not me. So another good way to reduce your waste is to secondhand shop. I don't buy anything new unless I'm in an absolute hurry and I have something in my mind that I need that exact thing. That's the only time I buy things that are new. Most things I get secondhand, especially my clothing. I got this shirt, this necklace from Plato's. I got these rings secondhand. So another thing you can get secondhand is water bottles, reusable cups, coffee cups, anything really. If you feel gross about using stuff like this, just boil it, put it through your dishwasher, wash it with bleach. Stuff like that doesn't really bother me. I did get this new because I needed this at that very, very moment, and I couldn't get it secondhand because I was in such a hurry. But a good way to reduce your waste is to shop secondhand, because fast fashion is one of the biggest causes of environmental waste right now. So shop secondhand. Don't support that kind of industry. It'll help your pocket and it'll help your conscience. So shop secondhand. Another thing for containers is old jars. This is an old queso jar, but I use my old spaghetti jars for smoothies and cups and things like that. This I would use for if I made homemade sauces. So I do make a lot of homemade guacamole or tzatziki sauce, and this is good because it can seal it pretty nicely. It keeps it fresher for longer. And Valdosta kind of has a decent recycling, but I haven't figured out our recycling center yet because it doesn't get picked up at my apartment. So I'd have to go all the way across town, and I don't really know how that recycling center works yet. So I just reuse the stuff for now. But that's what this kind of stuff can be used for, especially like with my smoothies on the go with my bigger spaghetti sauce jars. I put the lid on it and then just put my straw in it and drink it like that. That way I don't have to go and buy more cups like this guy. Now this I got at Starbucks, but you can also get these at Dollar Tree. It just comes in handy when I'm on the go, and the only kind of cups the place offers is styrofoam cups. I've noticed a lot of Japanese and Chinese restaurants only offer styrofoam cups. So you can, because a lot of their fountain drinks are not behind the counter, so they don't have a health code violation kind of thing with that. So I'll just pay for my drink and put it in here. And then I'll normally bring this around with me on campus. This I got at Dollar Tree, and I can put my hot and cold coffees in this, or tea. It works just fine. And this is more lightweight. Another way to reuse things is old bread bags, tortilla bags, even plastic grocery shopping bags, because sometimes I know that people still give me plastic bags even though I put this down, or I just forget sometimes I don't have this with me for whatever reason, and I have to use a plastic bag, I'll just reuse it. So I can use it as a trash bag, I can use it as a Ziploc, because fun fact, I don't buy Ziplocs, they're pointless. So I'll use, especially tortilla bags are good for Ziplocs because they actually have the Ziploc kind of thing that you can close up. And those are good to put things in the freezer. Bread bags can also be put in the freezer. You can put sandwiches in there for your lunches and things like that. Just reuse it. And like I said, I don't buy Ziploc. I also don't buy aluminum foil or cling film. I just don't see the use for it whatsoever. Cling film, I just use my Tupperware. Just put it in here, put it wherever I need it to go. Or for aluminum foil, I just use cooking oil. So nothing really sticks. I don't see the point for it at all. It's single use and it's so wasteful. So just use what you already have and it'll save you so much money. And that's another thing. See what you have before you buy something new, because I used to be so bad about going out and buying something that I already had that I forgot that I had. So just look through what you have and use what you have already. That being said, another useful tip with your old ratty t-shirts, if it's too ratty to donate and you don't know what to do with it, there's two uses that I've found for it. You can cut it up and use it as either face rags or cleaning rags, or I know people with wavy curly hair like me, using normal towels like this can make your hair very, very frizzy because the whole texture of it. Cotton shirts are really good for not making your hair frizzy, so you can use it as a hair towel because you don't want to use like a shirt you want to wear and dirty it like trying to dry your hair. So just use an old t-shirt that you wouldn't normally wear anyways. So this doesn't really fit in a category, but I noticed at the gym, the campus gym, the BSU gym, doesn't have spray bottle. Planet Fitness has spray bottles and you have the option to use a paper towel. I would always just use the towel I brought because most gyms require you to bring a hand towel anyways. This is just a kitchen towel my roommate forgot here or left here when she moved out, but it does the same thing, same kind of concept. So I'd bring something like this with me to the gym when I go to Planet Fitness. I'd spray the disinfectant and I wipe it down. But the campus gym doesn't offer that. They only have the throwaway wipes. So what I try to do is I use those as many times as I can. Mostly it's 2 or 3 times before it gets all dried out and it doesn't really do its job anymore. But I have to use them to disinfect the equipment, unfortunately, because you want to prevent as much bacteria as possible because you don't want to give somebody infections simply because you're trying to be zero waste. So use them as much as possible, and I still wipe it off with this to make sure all my sweat is gone, and you can still use it on your face or whatever. I also use it as a mat if I'm not going to touch my face with it anymore. I can lay it on the floor and use it as a mat. Another grocery shopping essential tip that I use is I don't use plastic produce bags. Buy as much loose produce as possible because I know some things you just can't help but find wrapped in plastic, but buy as much loose produce as you can. I understand sometimes it is a little more expensive, but do it where you can. Do the best that you can, and that's the whole point of us trying to be as zero waste as possible, is us doing a lot of this imperfectly versus none of us doing it at all and causing all of this extra waste for no reason. But when I buy loose produce, I don't use plastic produce bags. I'll use little bags like this if it's necessary, or I just don't use it at all. Cashiers don't mind. They just put it all on the little scanner and they charge you that way. It's just simple and easy. I know a lot of us that have lived in food deserts or do live in food deserts don't have access to farmers markets. I'm lucky enough to live in a city that is not in a food desert anymore. I moved away, so I have access to 2 farmers markets and multiple grocery stores. But where I grew up, fortunately I lived closer to the city, so I had access to 2 grocery stores. It was a Kroger and a Walmart. But people that lived farther out only had access to 1, and it was Sotilla Grocery, and it just doesn't have a whole lot of options. So I understand not being able to do all of these things, but do what you can, you know? Another thing grocery wise is to eat less meat. So meat is very expensive. No matter how you try to buy it, meat is expensive. Meat replacers are expensive, but just because you're not eating meat doesn't mean you have to eat meat replacers. So one of my favorite dishes to make that is meat-free is spaghetti and meatballs made out of black beans and spinach. It has just as much, if not more, protein, lots of fiber, and it's so cheap because it's just 1 can of black beans, I rinse them and I put them in my food processor. I put my spinach in my food processor, mix them together, put a little panko in there just so they'll stick together, and then I put them in the pan with some seasoning, and it just obviously is not going to taste like meat. It's not meat, but it's cheaper and it's more eco-friendly. And you can rinse out that can and recycle it if you have access to recycling. If you don't, you can try to find a way to reuse it. If you have unwanted items that you cannot find a reusable use for, donation is your best bet instead of sending it to landfill. I noticed when people were moving out of my apartment complex last week or the week before, they were throwing away so much stuff that could be given away. I brought in a lot of stuff that I could, and I disinfected it and I cleaned it and I washed it. And I'm donating a lot of it because it's just so wasteful to send that kind of thing to landfill. There were baby clothes and just regular clothes that I could fit into. So I washed them, donated them, or even sold them and made a little bit of money for stuff that I didn't have to spend any money for. So donate, give away things that you don't find any use for anymore, but somebody else may. Another way to reduce your waste is instead of buying all-purpose cleaners, you can make your own. There are plenty of recipes online. I don't personally do this because I'm still trying to use up cleaners that I bought in the store, but when you go to make your own cleaner, don't buy those little Pinteresty glass bottles. You reuse the bottles that your other cleaner came in. Just rinse it out, make sure it's all cleaned out, and put your homemade cleaner in there, and that way you don't have to go out and buy something new. Also, refillable travel soap bottles, because I notice when people go on trips, they go and buy name brand little single-use travel soaps. Just buy empty ones like I got mine at Dollar Tree. Go get those, fill them up with the soap you already have. It'll save you so much money, and it's reusable. You're not sending these little teeny tiny plastic bottles to landfill. Also, bar soap. Now, people in the zero waste community talk a lot about Lush, and Lush is a great company, it really is, but I don't have access to one. The closest one is 2 hours away, and I'm sure if you're watching this video, you are in the same boat as me. So, bar soap. Bar soap comes wrapped in paper, which is compostable, and it works just as good. I am very guilty of using liquid soap with my little shower squeegee thing that's made out of plastic. That is the last one I'm going to buy, and after that dies, I'm going to wrap my bar soap in a washcloth and get it all sudsy, and it'll work just the same. So that's what I'm gonna do to reduce that waste, and hopefully that'll help you. Also, toilet paper. I'm very bad about buying toilet paper that is wrapped in plastic, but there is a toilet paper in my grocery store that it comes single wrapped in paper, and that can be composted. I don't personally have a compost yet because I do live in a small apartment, and it wouldn't seem very courteous of me to try to learn how to compost when I have roommates, because I don't want it to smell, but I am going to do my best to start a compost bin. There is a way to do it in a 5-gallon bucket, and those are only like $10 at Home Depot, if I'm not mistaken. And you can get some soil, and I can put my paper in there from the assignments from school that I don't need anymore, and all of my food scraps. Citrus can't go in there, but you can use that in your homemade cleaners. Another thing I do instead of using something wasteful is I use dish rags instead of sponges. So these I got at Dollar Tree, I think a pack of like 3 or 5 with $1. I got this idea from my Nana because she always uses dish rags to wash her dishes, and these you can rewash and reuse over and over again. So I fold it up about the size of a sponge and I just clean my dishes. I also do use my dishwasher, but I make sure it is very full before I run it, and I don't use those little capsules because they come wrapped in plastic and it goes straight down the drain and into our oceans. So I do use the gel, and even though it comes in a plastic bottle, I'm not sending it straight to the ocean. I am trying to learn how to recycle here. And I don't buy paper towels unless it's to clean up messes. I do use these because sometimes, like I said, the dogs make messes, they throw up, so use those, and then use this for everything else. Most of my spills can be cleaned up with these. And going along with washing dishes, wash your laundry and do full loads, and wash your laundry with cold water because having hot water wastes energy and it's not good for your clothes anyways. And if you are able, if you have the time and the patience, hang dry your laundry. But if you're like me and you don't have the time to wait for your laundry to dry, being hang dried, make sure you clean out the lint trap every single time It's safer that way because it is a fire hazard to leave lint in the lint trap, but also it's more likely to dry your laundry the first round unless it's something heavy like comforters. That's why my bed is naked right now, because my comforter had to be re-dried. But that is the only thing that I really have to dry twice, is something heavy like that. But if you clean out the lint trap every time, stuff like clothes, you should only have to dry once, and it'll save you energy. You sleepy baby. You sleepy baby. Another thing, so this is more for people that are in my hometown, because I grew up in the very deep south. So this is for like hunting and fishing and that kind of thing. Fishing was very, very popular where I grew up. I went fishing with my dad, but it seems kind of pointless now that I don't eat meat. So when people go fishing, I don't know about hunting because I never went hunting, but I know when people go fishing, they bring coolers full of ice that they get from an ice machine that comes in a bag. Not all of it, mind you, but most of the time my dad would get ice in a, like, bagged ice in the ice machine and put it in a cooler. So most of those ice machines do have an option to just have it poured straight into your cooler. So if you don't want to use ice from your freezer, just use it to where it'll pour into your cooler, and use a reusable cooler. Don't get the cheap styrofoam ones because it's going to break on you halfway through the day anyways, and it's just more sustainable and cheaper in the long run to buy a reusable ones. Yetis are very popular where I'm from, but you don't have to get a $300 cooler. Just get like the $50 one from Walmart. Also, if you go fishing, don't leave your plastic fishing line in the tree. If it gets caught, please make sure you get it out, because it's just going to sit there forever and not break down for thousands of years. And if you go hunting, please pick up your plastic casings or the metal casings. If you shoot an animal or shoot at something, please pick them up, because I would hate for an animal to try to eat that and get stuck and it ultimately probably kill them. Also, if you're going to kill an animal, please eat it, don't waste it. Almost every single hunter will agree with me that that is very exceptionally wasteful, but I do know people that have shot just for sport and left it, and that's so wasteful and actually pretty gross, because the only thing that's going to eat that is like a vulture. I call it a buzzard, but I stopped myself because I know people would leave comments that it's a vulture. Whatever. Anything else? I don't think there's anything else with hunting or fishing. That's not something I really do, but I did think of those and I did want to mention them. My last thing is with bathroom stuff. Again, I don't buy Q-tips. It's not good for your ears anyways. It's a lot easier to clean out your ears other ways other than Q-tips. Also, reusable razors instead of plastic razors. Safety razors, I'm pretty sure you can get at Walmart along with the refills. So that's another way you can reduce your waste. So I think that's everything I had to talk about. I know that I struggled a lot being low waste when I lived in my parents' house, because it is a lot harder for that to be in your control, but now that I'm an adult, it is a lot easier. I am very privileged not to live in a food desert anymore. If you have access to farmers markets, please use them. If you don't, when you're at the grocery store, buy as little produce and packaging as possible, buy as little things in packaging as possible. If you're able to recycle them, please recycle them, or even use them in your home like I do. Eat less meat, eat less dairy, eat less eggs. That's a whole nother story. If you are looking for a good meat replacer, I do enjoy tofu. It's one of my favorite meat replacers, and it's very exceptionally cheap, along with beans, like I said, black beans. I think that's it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and thank you for watching.